It's just about time to get today's Grand Prix underway. We have a number of drivers in contention, but of course only one can claim that coveted top step of the podium. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 metres above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of around 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill of turn 3. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Stroll, Sargent, Ocon, Albon, Bottas, Gasly, Magnussen, Joe, and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down. Can now use DRS. DRS now available. Good job, that was the fastest lap of the race so far. Use your overtake button more. It's time to utilise some of this energy. Come on. Okay, you've just started the final lap of the race. Final lap.
Boys! Legends. We deserve that.
Lando Norris, take a bow. At last, a winner in Formula One.
A great display of dominance today, Crofty, by this driver. They led from lights out to the flag at the end, led every lap of the race. Brilliant stuff by them, and excited to see what more they can do in future races.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm very happy to see them there on that top step of the podium. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One. Welcome everyone to Silverstone, home of the British Grand Prix and home of the Formula One World Championship, where the very first F1 World Championship Grand Prix took place back in 1950. To this present day, it remains a firm favourite amongst fans and drivers alike. The 3.6-mile-long Silverstone circuit is one of the longest of the season, with 18 corners in the current layout. With average lap speeds reaching around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the quickest tracks of the year. Watch out for cars taking the right-handers of Abbey and of Copse flat out. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Perez, Verstappen, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Stroll, Bottas, Zhou, Sargent, Hülkenberg, Albon, Gasly, Ocon, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And alongside me, a man, well, what more can I say? But he's a legend, Anthony Davidson. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Okay. Okay, DRS is now available. work. That's a new fastest lap of the race. Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button a bit more. Okay, this is your final lap of the race.
Yeah, baby!
comes. It's all go, go, go for Lando Norris as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
And that's 2 wins in a row now. It's the start of potentially something special, but they can't get ahead of themselves just yet. It's a long way to go.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One. Welcome to Sao Paulo, which has been host to Formula One races since 1973. So sit back and relax for what is sure to be a fantastic Brazilian Grand Prix. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. Two very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Junção into one of the two DRS zones will be key to any overtaking prospects today. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Norris, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Russell, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Stroll, Albon, Sargent, Hülkenberg, Zhou, Magnussen, Ocon, Bottas, and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Well, it's been a long time since I last worked with you. Good to see you again today, Anthony Davidson. Now, I'll be generous here. It's not that long ago that you were racing and entertaining us on a Sunday. But in the years since, the sport has changed quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has, Crofty. You know, the cars have got bigger, they're heavier, but critically, there's more downforce to play with as well now. There was about 4 tons of downforce on the car at 300 kilometres an hour when I drove. You're now looking more towards 5 tons of downforce. So there's a big difference in performance. But because of that, the car being heavier and bigger, you've got to drive in a smoother way. You've got to look after it a bit more. You've got to nurse it through the slow-speed corners more. They were much more nimble, agile machines when I drove in Formula 1 compared to now.
Mind that front wing, it's going to need replacing if it takes too much damage. DRS now enabled. DRS enabled. That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap.
3 in a row.
Here's the checkered flag, and our winner has landed. It's Lando Norris for victory.
And they're just starting to make it look easy out there. Now a hat-trick of wins. They're out there ahead. They've got the momentum on their side. And it's for the others now to try and up their game to stop that energy that they have.
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving that they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.